Huawei Location Kit intelligently combines GPS, Wi-Fi, and base stations to give you precise user locations. Sets up virtual geographic boundaries to detect events, such as when a device enters, exits, or lingers. Adjusts your app to user walking, running, cycling, driving, or idling. The first step is to enter the Huawei developer site. It should be noted that registration is a simple process, and it only takes 1 to 2 days to validate the identity of the developer. Once inside the panel, we go to the App Gallery Connect section, and then we move to the menu option My Apps. In Huawei App Gallery, we create a new application in the New App button located in the upper right corner, which will open a modal window, where by default, we leave the APK option selected to later register the name of the application, the category to which it belongs and the default language it will have. We wait a few moments for the application to be created, and we will have all the necessary data and keys ready that will be taken care of later when using the Huawei mobile services. We go to the Develop tab located in the upper left corner, where we can register the name of the application package. Once inside, we select the option to manually enter the package name. In our example, we will enter the package com.de.hums. It is important that this identifier is unique and follows the same conventions of any package name of an Android application. To create a key store, we enter the following command, in which you must specify a name, an alias and its corresponding passwords and their confirmation. We enter the first and last name. We enter the organizational unit name. We enter the organization name. We enter the city or locality name. We enter the state or province name. We enter the 2-letter country code. We confirm the previously entered data and then enter the password for the key store alias. Once the key store is created, we enter the following command to list the keys it contains. We enter the same password, and we go to the part where the SHA-256 key is displayed. We copy its value and return to the web browser to see the information of the application. Now we go to the application information in the My Apps menu, select My Projects. Once the information is loaded, we go down to the section that says SHA-256 certificate fingerprint, enter the key that we copied from the console, and click on the button next to save. Now we create the Flutter project with the same package name that was registered on the Huawei developers site. We use the Flutter create command and wait for the process to finish. We open the file system in the location of the Flutter project, and then we move to the Android directory, and inside the app directory, now we go to downloads and move the key store file. The next step is to open the Flutter project. For our example, we will use the Visual Studio Code Editor. Once the project is open, we move to the Android directory, app directory, and open the build.gradle file. We scroll down, we place the release configuration, and we add the build type for debug using the same one from release. In the build.gradle file, in the section for build types, we add and release and debug the configuration for ProGuard. Then we move to the app directory and create a new file with the name ProGuardRules.pro and enter the obfuscation rules that apply to the Huawei mobile services. We open the file system in the Flutter project folder and open the Android directory in Android Studio. In the archive build.gradle of the project, in the build script section, we add the Maven repository corresponding to Huawei. In the dependencies section, we add AgConnect, and in the all projects section, we also add the Maven repository. We save the file, synchronize and wait for it. Changes are applied. The application's build.gradle file, at the bottom we apply the AgConnect plugin, synchronize and wait for the changes to be applied. In the build.gradle file of the application, we change the minimum version of the SDK from 16 to 19, then we synchronize the project. Now we return to the project information site and download the agconnect.json file. Once the file is downloaded, we open the file system and move it to the Flutter application directory within the Android directory and within the app. We enter the Huawei Location Kit website and click on View Documents, which will load a new page where we move to the Overview tab and then select Cross-Platform and wait for it to load. Then we select the Plugin tab and look below the Location Kit option for Flutter. Then we download the library in zip format and wait for the process to finish. The next step is to open the file system, go to the download directory, and copy the unzipped library to the Flutter application directory, where we are going to create a new directory Huawei libs and paste the library. We open the Flutter project in Visual Studio Code and move to the pubspec.yaml file, and in the dependencies section, we add Huawei location, followed by the location of the library in the file system, save the file, and wait for the changes to be applied. We move to the Android manifest.xml file, and then we add the access permissions to the location and internet permissions. Now in the lib directory of the Flutter project, we create a new directory with the name of services and inside a file with the name locationservice.dart. In this file we are going to create a class that will contain the logic to obtain the location. The methods that will be added come in more detail in the official documentation. We begin by importing the necessary libraries and creating the class with the name locationService. We declare the properties for the management of permits and request of the location. In the constructor we initialize the properties. The check location settings method allows you to recognize if location permissions are enabled for Huawei mobile services. The has permission method detects if the application has location permissions. Request permission prompts the user for location permissions for the app. The get current location method gets the coordinates of the user. In the main.dart file, we remove the widget that comes in the template and create a stateful widget with the same name, but without the title property. We add a final property for the location service and initialize it. We add a property with name text to display the data of the user's coordinates. Now we override the initState method and create a new method named initLocation with the async keyword. We call the initLocation method from the initState. We call the request permission method of the location service object to request the location permissions. Then we call the get current location method, which if everything goes correctly, it will return an object with the user's coordinates, otherwise it will return a null value. We check the location object, and if it is different from null, then within the setText method, we assign a text string with the latitude and longitude values obtained through Huawei Location Kit. Now the next step is to move below to create the user interface, where we remove the code that comes default in the template and add a scaffold which will have an app bar, which will have a text that says Huawei Location Kit as a title. Below we add the body, which will be composed of a center object that in turn will have a child that will have a text object that will show the status of the widget with the latitude and longitude values when the user grants the corresponding permissions and the coordinates are obtained. Once the code is finished, we execute the project from Visual Studio Code. This process may take a few minutes depending on the device. We also invite you to review information on the Huawei developers site, where you will find more information about the kits, and visit the forums where you can put your questions about a problem you have, or read articles with different integrations with other Huawei kits, such as maps, analytics, machine learning, cloud services and different options for games. Now we indicate to continue, we install the application, and we grant the location permissions. When it finishes obtaining it, it will show on the screen the latitude and longitude values.